Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of July. I hope you're well and not feeling too frazzled or put out by the water season that we find ourselves in at the moment. I'm using the Pagan Otherworlds tarot for you today, which is a bit of a treat because I only received this yesterday and I had a funny feeling that one of the signs would be using this one, and yeah, it's Leo, so okay, that's cool. Now, if you haven't seen these videos before, what I do for the mid-months is slightly different to what I do for the main monthly reading. In so much as we are looking for the lesson, I think that there is a lesson or wisdom contained within every experience we have, and it makes it easier to navigate fairly challenging energy if we can kind of work out why we're in it in the first place, like what's the point of it. So to that end, what I'm going to do is pull 3 cards for your current energy, and then 3 cards to see why you're there in the first place, and then we'll close out with 3 cards of advice. I hope that that makes sense to you. I'm actually quite excited about using this deck. I've been eyeing it up for a long time, so I think it's very cool that it's come out here. Right. I have 3 cards for Leo, please. Sun or Ascendant. There's the first one. We have the 9 of Swords. Yes. Intriguing. Not intriguing, entirely expected, to be honest. Leo, please. We have the Devil, Capricorn energy. One more, please. Thank you. Fucking hell. We have the Tower. We have the 7 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. My God, if I blop, blop, blop. Okay, I'm cackling because I think I am pretty representative of the Leo collective in the experience that I am having at the moment, and I think that this sums up very well what we are going through at the moment. As if, you know, it's about time we got a break, to be honest, but nevertheless, here we are. So we have the 9 of Swords. I have to actually say I haven't even looked through this deck yet, so I'm coming at this completely fresh. We have the Devil, check that out there, and then we have the Tower. Gorgeous cards, I love them. So, double major arcana. The first thing to know, Leo, is that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, right? There's nothing that you've done wrong. There's no karmic punishment that's going on here. You are being called on at this time to work through some very, very deep-seated issues. Right? And I do believe that you are doing that. Now, for a lot of you, just know, oh, look at this. Right, so we've got the 7 of Cups. We've got this incredible confusion at the moment, right? It's just permeating everything. And there's almost a feeling of not knowing quite what is real and quite what is illusory. Right? Because everything is just, at the moment, you don't really know which way is up as it is. But we've got the Empress directly behind it, right? And I think that abundance is a big thing in the Leo collective at the moment, right? There's a certain level of comfort with a certain level of abundance. But what seems to have been thrown up recently is kind of difficult relationship that you have with money, possibly, material things, possibly, you know. There's this, you know, the lazy characterization of Leo is that, you know, they're like expensive lifestyles and shiny things that cost a lot of money. And, you know, there's a sliver of truth in that. But what tends to be missed from that characterization is that Leos are prepared to work very, very, very hard for those things. And I think that, Leo, you have been doing that. The thing is, what's coming up for you is something very akin to self-sabotage. so akin, in fact, that I think that it is. As you are getting closer to the things that you actually want, so it seems like you are further away. Now, this comes down to things like feeling, you know, like you deserve these things, and this is huge. Like, I'm not sure that you do feel like you deserve them, Leo, but I'm here to tell you you do. So I'm looking at this death figure here. There's a skeleton at the top, and he's got a castle in his hand, and he's kind of pointing at an absolutely extraordinary deck. He's pointing there at one of the cups, and it feels like you're kind of progressing so far along, right? But then you're getting close to the root of the matter, and the root of the matter for you is actually feeling like you deserve the things that you get, right? And there's a transformation that needs to occur here, because what you want to do is work harder. As things are getting more and more difficult, you want to work harder, because that is what you know. You know that you are strong. We have the strength card right here. And I've spoken before about this sort of pre-programming. And I see it in Leo, and I see it in Taurus very often as well. When things are hard, often, all the time, in fact, we internalize it and we go, right, well, the reason that I'm not conquering this situation is because I'm not working hard enough. I need to apply myself more. I need to be more diligent. I need to, you know, really invest more of my time, care, effort, money, whatever, into this thing so that I can make it come through. But certainly for you, Leo, what I'm seeing is that you're kind of playing catch up with yourself, where you're at, where you want to be. And then somewhere trailing behind is whether you actually deserve it in the first place. Now, the Death card is directly underneath there, followed by the Eight of Pentacles. This is going to be a much longer reading than I anticipated. I can see that. The Eight of Pentacles is that work ethic, right? The need to feel like you are doing more and more and more, like you need to do more and more and more to get the things that you want, right? And actually, I feel like the message here is very strongly that you need to do less. Now, I can feel you all like recoiling from the screen, right? I recoiled from myself when I said it, but it's true. You need to do less. Oh my God, this deck is extraordinary. We have the Four of Wands and we have the Ace of Swords underneath there, right? The new foundation that you're trying to build for yourself, right? The castle there in the background of the Four of Wands. And then look at what this Death character here has got in his hand. It's a castle, right? He's got a skeletal hand kind of wrapped around it. It feels so far away because you're working too hard for it, Leo. There's too much emotional confusion in between it, and that's where all the self-sabotage is. That's where the overworking is. Like, where have you overdone things to the degree that you now don't have the energy to do it anymore? This deck's absolutely extraordinary. Right, those were all shadow cards. Let's come to the cards that are here, because like I said, we've got that Nine of Swords, we've got the Devil, we've got the Tower. Now, the Devil and the Tower are both major arcana, cards of Capricorn and Scorpio, respectively. The Devil is all about those things that are toxic, right? So codependency or toxicity of any description, abuse of any description, and for you that may well have its seat in childhood, you know, some sort of abusive situation that you found yourself in childhood that came to forge a particular preconception about who you were and what it was to be you. And it's so deeply seated in you, Leo, that I think that you don't even realise it's there. Or I think that perhaps you're starting to realise that it's there. You're starting to see the edges of it. You know, the last 6 months have been really, really challenging for Leos. And it feels like, I can't tell you how much, it feels like it needs to let the fuck up really, really soon. But the pressure, the intensity is commensurate with just how deeply hidden this thing is. You know, we've got characters here within whatever robe, I guess you would call it, or the fur or whatever that this devil's got in itself here. Like there are characters peeking out from this. And I do feel like they're younger versions of you, Leo. Because it doesn't really matter how successful you thought you were right up until the beginning of this year, or what it was that you thought that you wanted. I'm seeing this scared little child peeking out at me, saying, no, we don't want this, we don't deserve this, we can't have this. You know, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, it's just there. Look. Now this devil here has got some lit branches in his hand, and he's literally incinerating stuff as we go along. Leo, this is you incinerating. Opportunities. You know, there's a tower in both of these cards as well. Oh, obviously there's a tower in the tower card, but there's a tower in the distance. And it's on fire. And what you are on at the moment, Leo, is a profound journey of self-discovery. And reprogramming of yourself. You know, you've been up in your head here with this Nine of Swords for such a long time. And months and months and months. And there's been no let up. We've got this swan at the bottom here. Right? And it's chained by the neck. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a gold chain. Now that's a similar sort of symbolism that we see in the devil card there. Right? We've got this exquisite, beautiful creature here that is tethered. Right? It's got a gold chain, but it's still fucking tethered. The tethering, Leo, is by you. Whether the chain is forged from, you know, cold, hard iron, or whether it's chained from gold, it's still a fucking chain, and it still doesn't deserve to be, it's not right that it is around the neck of this beautiful creature, right? It needs to be released, it needs to be set free. Now, I think that you know this, Leo, and I think what you're struggling with is working out how the fuck you're supposed to do it, right? You can see these two things are incongruent. The swan and the chain around the neck, right? We don't want those two things together, but how the fuck do we change the perspective so that those two things are not in contact with each other anymore? It's a journey within. It's a journey into the deeply uncomfortable for you. Where do you need to change your perspective on a lot of things? Because, I mean, ultimately, the tower sitting at the end there is the thing that needs conquered by you. I feel like the answer is within the tower for you, and you need to go and scale it. It's a shadow journey, and it shouldn't be a surprise because actually was the slippery fish. Shadow is a slippery fish. Reading not for July, I'm sure it was. It feels like it's getting harder and harder to get to the center of what is going on, to get to, in fact, the truth of the matter here. But actually, you're closer than you think you are, Leo. And I'm set such huge fear that you will end up being this person here, falling off the tower. But that's the programming. That's the way that you have been told that you are. If you scale too high a height, then somebody will pull you down, someone will kick you down. So it's better to be humble and very low level and make sure that you're always checking yourself, make sure you're not getting too high up there, you know. It's an interesting thing that I see in Leos more often than I don't. And it's something that gets missed all the fucking time by just about everybody else on the planet. You know, it's very low vibe Leos that are, you know, haughty and arrogant and all these characterizations that often get thrown at them. And the more evolved Leos are so frightened of being seen that way that they will keep themselves tethered, they will keep themselves chained down.
And it all comes down to this little face that's peering out from the devil's garb there. It's a shadow journey. But it's about taking responsibility away from this inner child here. And this one that works so hard to keep you safe, keep you protected, you know. And a huge part of that was stopping you from, you know, getting above your station, being seen too much, you know, all those sorts of things. Having you fly under the radar. Right? That's how you were kept safe, Leo. But the fact is, whatever the universe has in store for you, it requires you to be seen. It requires you to step outside of, you know, that very close comfort zone that you've been sat in for such a long time. And the reason that you're so very fucking triggered by this is because there is a threat here. You know, your subconscious is perceiving a threat. If I am seen, if I make too much noise, if I draw too much attention to myself, somebody's going to come along and push me off the tower. Somebody's going to come along and set fire to my tower. Five of Wands in reverse. I don't want to cause any aggro. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I don't want to do any of these things, right? It's not for me to do these things. About the devil. Nine of Pentacles. Page of Cups. It's really interesting. I literally just did the reading for Aries, and they had the devil and the Nine of Pentacles show up too. Now, this is really interesting for me because these two cards are completely opposite when it comes to the nature of codependency. Right? The devil is shrill about codependency, whether it is on another person, whether it is on situations, whether it is in some ways, as I discovered thanks to my amazing fucking patrons, that I have in some ways moved my codependency away from relationships as it had been in the past to my fucking business. Hello, you know, that need to work harder all the time, be worthy of the things that you get, you know. My patrons are incredible. I spent the whole day after I spoke to them like curled up in a ball on the sofa with my brain just going up. Anyway, Page of Cups and Nine of Pentacles. It's a new emotional beginning, and one that is totally at the opposite end of the spectrum of codependence, right? Cultivating your own garden and enjoying the things that you are building in there, and maybe allowing other people along for the ride, you know? This is codependence. This is self-sufficiency and independence. This is not requiring the approval or the, you know, the validation of anybody else. Now, we thought we had done an awful lot of work on this already, and we have. And the work that we did was necessary to get to us to where we are now. But I mean, we're really getting down to the meat of the matter now, Leo, in terms of your soul progression. All roads lead to Rome in this respect, right? And Rome is right here. It is your personal tower. It is whatever's going on in your shadow at the moment. And it's probably very fucking elusive. It's very fucking difficult to pin it down exactly. But you are getting there. Your own abundance is a huge part of that, right? There's almost like a refusal to take ownership of that, because it might throw you into the category of those kind of Leos that everybody hates, or those kind of Leos who, you know, as children experienced situations that caused them to intentionally dull their shine. Accepting that you are supposed to shine is a huge part of this journey for you, Leo. But it's also about understanding why it is that you have chosen not to, right? I said it was really interesting that these two cards have come up for Aries as well, because obviously they're fire signs like you. You don't know how to be any different, right? For a lot of you, these circumstances, these situations that caused you to start dulling your shine very, very early on, you probably don't have any memories of much before that, because it will have started really, really early. So you are actually casting yourself out into the void here, Leo. You don't know if you've got anywhere to land. You don't know if you're actually falling off a tower here and whether there's going to be a nice big bouncy castle at the bottom to catch you when you fall, or whether you are going to be dashed to pieces on the fucking rocks. You are being asked to pull yourself right out of your comfort zone. And not just, oh, this is comfortable, I like it here, but like, I literally have to live here because if I don't, the threat is so fucking hard that it penetrates right to the core of your identity, Leo. This is really, really difficult work. Really difficult work. Oh, it's a tower. Yes. Death. Death. Transformation. You are being asked to transform. That is a hella fucking combination to have in one reading. You throw the devil in there. Hella combination. 9 of Swords. Hella combination. I can see why we're all upside down here. You're being called to make the jump. You don't know if there's anywhere that you can land. Maybe you don't even need to land. Well, maybe I'll pull off some Neo from the Matrix shit before you get anywhere near the ground, you know? It's an act of faith, Leo. That's what's being asked of you here. Trust. Trust that what is being asked of you will benefit you, that you won't be dashed against the rocks. Thought I was going to have to stop the video and go and answer the door there, but I did hear fun running footsteps, so it's all fine. I've just picked up this deck and it's got an extra card at the bottom that was just laying in there. It's called The Seeker. It's this chap putting his head out of his comfort zone to perceive what is beyond it. What is beyond it? It's the void. It's the moon. Right? It's your subconscious. It's the things that are hidden from you. Like, I don't think that you are going to get resolution to the things that you are struggling with, Leo, until you cast yourself into the void, until you accept that this is something that you have to do, and you have to do it on faith and nothing else. Faith in yourself, faith in the universe, source, spirit, whatever it is that you trust. No, whatever it is that you should trust, and it is all of the above. Because you are protected. But this is about really tapping into the potential of who you can be if you let go of the ways in which you pull yourself down. About the lesson here for Leo. Page of Pentacles. That fucking planes being loud as well now. It's a helicopter. That Leo. It's the lesson for Leo. For fuck's sake. I love these cards so much. Wow. Oh, Leo. Right, we've got the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck here, but that card that just toppled out, I don't know if you noticed it, it was kind of sticking out like this and then it just like fell out. It's the Seven of Swords. The view, your worldview is wrong, right? Not entirely wrong, not consistently and universally wrong, but when it comes to the way that you perceive yourself, you've been deceived. This is not who you are. You have hidden so much of your gold in your shadow. There are many things that you're comfortable with about yourself, right? The good stuff. Yeah, I got pretty good taste in, music, or I've got pretty good taste in film. I'm pretty funny. I'm a good person to come to advice. I'm pretty, for advice. I'm pretty wise about a lot of things. Yeah, I'm going to be there for my people. whenever they need me, all that sort of thing. All of that is spot on. It's right. But there's something really, really deep in here that you just don't want to look at, Leo. And it's your own fucking brightness. It's your own fucking glorious self. And the reason that you're here where you are right now is because you need to learn to fucking accept that. We've got the Page of Pentacles there. We have the Ten of Wands. And then we have the Ace of Cups. You're not designed to live a mundane existence, Leo. And so first and foremost, it's important that you release any sense of needing to dull yourself down so that you don't cause some sort of impediment to somebody else. That's not taking ownership of yourself, Leo. It's not. It's maybe making yourself more palatable for, you know, smaller minds or smaller hearts. But it's not being true to who you are, and you are being called to accept yourself in all the senses that you exist. And it's the big, shiny senses. Like, how can you love other people to the fullest of your ability? And my God, you know, you love with the fire of 1,000 suns as it is. If you will not love yourself, if you will not accept yourself in all your glory, right? Where you are muting yourself, subduing yourself for consumption by other people, or just because to do anything else feels threatening to you, right? Then you're not giving, you're not able to give to its fullest extent. You're not able to appreciate the love that comes towards you properly, because it's always tempered by this like, need to be humble, need to be modest, need to be this, that and the other. No. Now, I'm not saying that you won't need to become egoic monsters overnight. That's not at all what I'm saying. And that's the root of the issue there, right? So often we forget that it isn't one thing or another. It's not humble, modest, kind, wise Leo, or it's absolutely like narcissistic psychopath that, you know, low vibe Leos can be. There's a place up here, actually, that you are meant to sit in. Neither there nor there. Taking, you know, all of the good bits of that, and taking, you know, maybe some of the good bits from there too. Not narcissistic psychopathy, obviously, but, you know, a willingness to be seen. There is gold in the shadow and there is darkness in the light, right? Take it all and put it up here, because you are designed, you are being called to start again in some way or another, Leo. Like, from an identity perspective, certainly. But you've kind of topped out. Like I said, you're not designed to live a mundane existence. And where you are struggling now is where you are trying to make yourself live that, right? That's where the burden is. It's time to put the burden down. It's time to release it. It's time to stop being what you've been told you should be, and start being actually what you are, and accept every single last bit of it. Let's get you some cards of advice. Please. We have the Five of Pentacles. I love these cards so much. They're even glorious to shuffle. Hello. Four of Cups in reverse. Oh no, Five of Cups in reverse. Beg your pardon. Yeah. Got the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Hermit next to it. Yeah, like, expect this energy that you are in at the moment of withdrawal to continue for a while, because you have got processing to do. You have got healing to do. All of the answers are within you, Leo, if you sit with them for long enough. And I think we're probably getting to a point where you have been sitting with them for long enough. Like, but now how do you actualize what you have learned? How do you integrate the bit about you that you tried so hard to disavow for such a very fucking long time, in fear of, you know, either drawing attention from, you know, abusive family members towards you, or making other people feel X, Y, and Z, you know, right? All of this needs to be up for examination now, because you have been, for your entire life, neglecting your own basic needs, right? This is a card of poverty and lack. It is completely opposite to the Nine of Pentacles, completely opposite to the Empress, both of which we have seen coming up for you. You can't have the Nine of Pentacles, you can't have the Empress until you embody those energies and know that you are worth it. Until you start losing this mentality here, the one that has you kind of not putting yourself too far out there, not, you know, aiming too high for the things that you want for fear of X, Y, and Z. This situation's not going to move. We've got the Five of Cups in reverse. Now, the Five of Cups is a card of grief. It's a card of mourning. It's a card of loss. And all of the bits of you that are conditioned to be humble, to be modest, to, you know, not draw too much attention to yourself, lest you become an attention seeker and that kind of person that everybody hates, you know. All of these have come about as a result of your shine, of your brightness. Being a cause of revulsion in others, right? Disgust, whatever, whether this was a parent or a sibling or, you know, whoever it was. Somebody who told you were always too much, you were too extra, you were too everything, and bit by bit you were like, okay, well, I need to rein that in, maybe I'll say a little less. I started a course because I like to just randomly do courses, and it's from the Psychedelic Society. I started doing it the other night, and it's all about the self, just exploring yourself. And one of the exercises I had to do, I had to write down loads of facts about me, like what sort of person I was. And one of the things I put down was introvert. And I didn't really think about it much beyond that. I am an introvert. I'm quite happy with that. Bookworm, you know, that sort of thing. And then we broke off into rooms. And we had to kind of like gently interrogate each other about one aspect of something that you picked. So I picked up introvert because I didn't think it would trigger me that much. What I discovered in less than 45 seconds was that I actually deeply resent being an introvert. And I'd never seen that before. Now, in some ways, I love it. It's like it's a warm, comfy blanket for me. Like, people drain me. Spending time around people drains me. I like my own company. I really do like my own company a lot, right? But in those 45 seconds, I kind of tracked back to where that started. And it was disappearing into a book. Because when I was reading a book, everybody left me the fuck alone. I didn't have any kind of, you know, abusive shit going on. Because certain family members took a great deal of pleasure in my intelligence reflecting well on them. So if I was reading a book, I was left alone. That's where my introversion started, right there. Well, I actually resent that. I didn't realise that I'd resented it, that I did resent it until that point. And it's completely blown my fucking mind, because I don't remember an age where I wasn't reading. Not really. I was reading very young. I was a very competent reader before I even went to school. There is grief associated with my introversion for me. Where is the grief associated? With an aspect of you, Leo. Because it's time to start walking away from it. Now, I'm not saying walking away from being an introvert, because I think if you're anything like me and you're 40 years old, that's going to be a difficult difficult kind of pattern to break. But the recognition of it and where it came from allows it to shift and allows it to change into something else, right? It's, for me, a hugely integral part of what I am struggling with at the moment, what the Leos are struggling with at the moment, is that, right? And that simple thing that I noticed the other day has changed an awful lot about the way that I see things. That, for me, is indicating my Five of Cups in reverse moment. What is yours? Mm-hmm. And we've got the Seven of Wands again has come out, and the Six of Pentacles. It's time to start bringing balance to things. It's time to start moving on from the Five of Pentacles, right? Understand that you have been hoodwinked to a degree. That's one way of looking at it. I mean, the other way of looking at it is not that you've been hoodwinked, but that you've learned a really long, extended, protracted lesson, and now you are being called to do something really quite superhuman to move beyond that. To start moving in a direction of abundance, right? Because you're closer to the Nine of Pentacles from the Six than you are from the Five. This is static. This isn't moving anywhere. This is stuck. This is movement, and this is headed in the right direction. Oh, fucking hell. I hope that makes sense, Leo. Like, fucking... It's hard. Like, it is hard. This kind of work is always hard. And, you know, we could sit around and feel resentful about the fact that we've done all of this. We've done so much of this sort of thing before. Or we can just go, do you know what? This situation's not moving until I submit to it, until I acquiesce, until I get on with it. And then do it, you know? So, Leo, having prowled on for twice as long as I meant to, I'm going to leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much. And, yeah, I really do. I'm not going to say anymore. See you soon.